أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So today we are going to learn about flexibility. Uh, you can consider flexibility a subtopic or sub-subject of the first property of ism, that is status. And we will see how that is a subtopic of the first property, status. We already know this. We have seen this table before. How to tell the status. Like for singular words and for broken plural, well, we look at the haraka on the last letter. Single dhamma or double dhamma means it is rafa. For nasab it has to be fatha. For jar it has to be a kasra. For dual, we don't go with the ending haraka, we go with the ending sound. Ani, aini, aini, rafa, nasab, and jar. For masculine sound plurals, like muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina, we have una, ina, and ina sound for rafa, nasab, and jar. And for feminine sound plurals, we know the ending sounds should be atun to be rafa, atin to be nasab, and atin to be jar. You all are pretty familiar with this. Okay, let's continue. I have three words in front of you: Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. If somebody asks you which one is Rafa, which one is Nasab, which one is Jar, it is very easy to tell because all three of them are different. When you look at them, they have very clear differences which can help you identify which one is Rafa, which one is Nasab, which one is Jar. First one, the top one has a Dhammatain on the last letter. Second one has Fathatain, two Fatha. And the third one has two Kasras. Very easy, very simple to differentiate between Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. And there are many words like this. Muslimun, and then Muslimatun, Muslimatan, Muslimatin, Sajidan, Sajidun, Sajidan, Sajidin, and other words like that. So the words where we can easily tell the status, and the words look different from each other, and there is no confusion with respect to which one is Rafa, which one is Nasa, which one is Char. Those type of words are called, with respect to full flexibility, they are called fully flexible. They distinctly show their status. Okay, these kinds of words are fully flexible, easy to tell the status. Now, another example, Musa. If Musa is written in Quran somewhere and you are asked, just by looking at Musa, can you tell what is the status? Because Musa does not change. Musa remains Musa. It is not like Musu, Musa, Musi. No, that doesn't happen. Musa word never changes. But it does come in Rafa status sometimes in Nasab status, sometimes in Jar status. So irrespective of the status, Musa will be Musa. Okay. For example, I give you three ayat. You can see them at the bottom now. In all these three ayat from different parts of the Quran, they are parts of ayat, not complete ayat. You see Musa in the first part, Musa in the second part, and Musa in the third part. One of these three is Rafa, the other is Nasab, and the third one is Jar. But just by looking at Musa, you cannot tell which one is Rafa, which one is Nasab, which one is Jar. As you become more experienced, you know more Arabic, then you can look before or after the word Musa and you can figure out what the status is. But just by looking at Musa, just by looking at the word and not around it, you cannot figure it out. For example, in the first one, Musa is Rafa. In the second one, Musa is Nasab. And in the third one, the status of Musa is Jar. Right? So the words which do not show their status, and it is difficult to tell, it's not straightforward at least, to tell what the status is. You have to look at the word before and after that word to figure out. Those kinds of words like Musa, like Yahya, like all Ismul Ishara, Haza, Hazihi, Haulai, Zalika, Tilka, Ulaik. I shared a table in the WhatsApp group, so you should know these words now. They never change either. They can be in Rafa, Nasab or Jar status, but never change. Asma Mausula, Allazi, Allati, Allazina, Allati. They never change either. So these types of words are called non-flexible. Non-flexible. And why they're called non-flexible? Because they don't show their status. They don't change. It is implied, the way it is named. They are not flexible because they don't change. They remain the same. So that's why they are called non-flexible. So far we have learned two types of flexibility: fully flexible and non-flexible. There is something in between, okay? These two types, and that is called partly flexible. But to learn this, we have to learn something else first. So inshallah, we will learn that first. And that is called being light or heavy versus light, as the title is written here. So what is heavy ism and what is a light ism? We will go back to the Muslim chart. You know these Muslim charts for masculine and feminine gender. All the words in the Muslim charts are heavy. They are heavy ism. Why they are heavy? Inshallah, we will learn more. And how to make them light. That's what we are gonna learn in the next few minutes. So Muslimun, I will read these charts and you will see there is noon sound at the end of all these words. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina. I improvised a bit just to highlight that there is a noon sound at the end. All for all these words. And even for feminine, Muslimatun, Muslimatan, Muslimatin, Muslimatani, Muslimataini, Muslimataini, Muslimatun, Muslimatin, Muslimatin. All of them, they have noon sound at the end. You can hear a noon sound. How to make them light? You just remove the noon sound from the end. Make the minimum necessary changes in the word. Minimum necessary changes to remove the noon sound, and then that word will become light. Okay, now the next task is, I have three words in front of you: Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. And we already know they are heavy, right? Because they have noon sound at the end. The task is make the minimum changes to make them light. Make the minimum changes. So I will ask, let me find someone. I will ask Sister Nemat. Did you know the task, sister?
Yes, remove the noon sound.
Okay, remove the noon sound by making the minimum change in the word Muslimun.
Muslimu.
Muslimu. So what did you do?
Remove the noon.
Remove the noon sound by replacing the double Dhamma with single Dhamma, right? That's
Yeah.
what you did. Do we have a noon sound now?
No.
No, Muslimu. Noon sound is gone. So Muslimun was heavy and Muslimu is light. Okay, can you do the same thing for the next word?
Muslima.
Muslima. For the third one,
Muslimi.
Muslimi. Muslimu, Muslima, Muslimi. Noon sound is gone. Noon sound is gone. So these words are light. We have changed three heavy words of the Muslim chart to light words. So this was singular. Now we want to remove the noon sound from dual. Okay. We want to remove the noon sound from the dual. Let me pick someone. Um, Brother Imran Rahman, inshallah.
Come.
Walaikum salam. So, brother, do you know the task?
To remove the noon sound from the Muslimani,
Yeah, with minimum changes.
Muslima,
Muslima, very good. Muslima. How about the next one?
Muslimai,
Muslimai. Yeah, third one would be the same.
Muslimai.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, brother. So this was Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini were heavy, and the lighter versions are Muslima, Muslimai, Muslimai. Good. Now we will go to the third column of the Muslim chart, and that is the plural words. Mm, Arafa. Arafa, would you like to participate?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Muslimuna is heavy. How will you make it light? What change will you make?
You will remove the noon, so it would be Muslimu,
Very good. Next.
Muslimi,
Mm-hmm.
Muslimi.
Perfect. Thank you, Arafa. Good job. So now we will fit them all back into the Muslim chart and make a Muslim chart for like a light version of the Muslim chart. The one on the right you have seen before. The one on the left we just made. Muslimu, Muslima, Muslimi, Muslima, Muslimai, Muslimai, Muslimu, Muslimi, Muslimi. No noon sound now. So this is the lighter version of the Muslim chart for masculine gender. And for feminine gender, exactly the same thing. Okay? Muslimatun. Muslimatun. We need to make it light. So we will do what? Muslimatu, Muslimata, Muslimati, Muslimata, Muslimatai, Muslimatai, Muslimatu. You see? It is different from masculine plural. We have to make minimum change. We cannot just remove ta here. That will be too much change. Right? Just by removing one dhamma, noon sound is gone, right? So we don't have to remove ta here. Just by removing, similar to singular, just by removing a singular haraka, we can get rid of this noon sound. So muslimatu, muslimati, and muslimati. So this is the lighter version of the feminine gender Muslim chart. So now we know what is a light ism. A light ism. It does not take tanween at the end. It does not have the noon sound at the end. We know what a light ism is now. Okay. Now, a few statements which you should remember. Heavy ism is the normal version of the ism. Okay. Heavy ism is a normal, is the default version of an ism. It's normal to be heavy. But when it is light, it has to have a reason. For an ism to be heavy, it doesn't have to have a reason. For example, when the sky is blue, we don't look for the reason why it is blue, because that is its default color, right? But when the sky turns black during the day, then we need to know why it is black, because it is overcast with dark clouds, right? So similarly, when an ism is heavy, we don't look for reasons why it is heavy, because that is normal. But when it is light, it has to have a reason for it. Okay, and we need to know why an ism is light. There are 4 reasons, and we are going to learn only one of them today. And that is, an ism is light when it is partly flexible. An ism is light when it is partly flexible. As I mentioned, on the first slide, or second slide it was, I think. So, what is partly flexible? Partly flexible ism are always light, and they generally, this is the word, be mindful that I am saying generally. Generally, they don't take kasra. For example, there are some categories of words who are partly flexible, like feminine names. Okay? All feminine names are always light. I give you an example. Maryamu. It will never be Maryamun. Never. Because it's a feminine name. And the nasab will be Maryama. It will not be Maryaman. Okay? And as I said, the partly flexible words are always light, and generally they don't take kasra. Because they don't take kasra, therefore the jar will be also Maryama. It will not be Maryami. Okay? So all feminine names, they are always light. And when they are in jar status, they don't take kasra. They look similar to the nasab status word. So like non-flexible words, then you have to figure out if it is nasab or jar. For example, like Musa, I gave you 3 examples. I'm going to give you 3 examples for the word Maryam. For example, in this ayah, Ya Maryamu nuti li rabbiki wasjudi warka'i ma'ar raki'in. Maryamu is used. It's very simple to tell the status. Very simple. Tamma on the last letter, right? It is Rafa. No problem. No problem. But the problem will come when it has a fatha on the last letter. For example, over here. Wazkur fil kitabi Maryama. And there is last example. Thalika Isa ibn Maryama. In both cases, it is Maryama and Maryama. But one of them is nasab, one of them is jar. Just by looking at them, you cannot tell which one is nasab, which one is jar. But when you look around, look at the other words and the role of the word Maryam in the sentence, in the ayah, then you will know that the first one at the bottom, actually, over here, is nasab. The other one is jar. But at this time, you need to know that partly flexible words, they are always light, and generally they don't take kasra. And all feminine names are like that. All feminine names. What's the next category under partly flexible? Non-Arab names. All non-Arab names, they are partly flexible. For example, Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, and Ibrahima. It will not be Ibrahimi. Ibrahim is not an Arab name. Yeah. It has come in Quran. It doesn't mean that it is an Arab name. Now, why is called Ibrahimu? Very simple. Ibrahimu just has to be Rafa. But Wazkur fil kitabi Ibrahima. And then in next ayah, Wama unzila ala Ibrahima. So 2 times Ibrahima used. And one of them is Nasab and the other one is Jar. So it will be difficult to tell. But with experience, you will know. Over here, Ibrahima is Jar in the last example. Not only Ibrahim, but Ismaila. You see, it is also partly flexible. It is also jar. Ishaqa is a non-Arab name again. Jar. Yaquba, that is also jar because it is a non-Arab name. Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, they are all non-Arab names. And they are partly flexible. They are always light. And generally they don't take kasra. Okay? But there are four prophets. Four prophets, their names are Arab names. Muhammad, as I said, Muhammadun, it is not light now. Shu'aibun, Hudun, Salihun. These names of the prophets, they are fully flexible. As you can tell, they are not light. If they were partly flexible, then they would be light. Other than this, all the names which have three-letter names which have a sukun in the middle, like Nuhun, Lutun, they will be also fully flexible even if they are non-Arab names. So other categories are names of places. Okay, names of places. Makkatu, Makkata, Makkata. It will not be Makkati. I will not give you examples now. You should have got the idea. Words who have this pattern, af'alu pattern, like akbaru. It will not be akbarun. No, never. Akbaru, ajmalu, ahsanu. The words who have this pattern, okay, these words are also light and they generally don't take kasra because they are partly flexible. So far, four categories: feminine names, non-Arab names, names of places, all places. It will be always Pakistanu, Pakistana, Pakistana. It will not be Pakistanun. No. And the words with afalu pattern. Afalu is just a pattern here, and there will be words like akbaru, ajmalu, ahsanu, ashrafu. Words ending with an extra alif and a hamza. Ulama'u. You see the ending? Ulama'a. Ulama'a. Shurafa'u. Shurafa'a. Shurafa'a. This is an extra alif at the end. Hamza. Okay? It has to be extra. We know there are root letters, 3 root letters, and then an extra alif and hamza at the end. These words are also partly flexible. And words of these patterns, like masajidu, and words like masakinu. Meme doesn't have to be at the beginning. For example, for the first type, like rawasiyu, so it will be rawasiyu, rawasiya, rawasiya. It will not be rawasiyun, never. And it will not be rawasiyi. Generally, it will not take kasra. Rawasiyu means firm mountain. Araiku, recliners, madarisu, schools. Darahimu is a name of currency. Qawaidu, like rules, basic rules or foundations. So these words, like, they rhyme the same way. Rawasiyu, masajidu, araiku, madarisu, darahimu, qawaidu. They all rhyme the same way. So words with these pattern. And the second type is masakinu, masabihu. Masabihu means lamps. Ababilu, groups. Qawariru, glass. Ma'adhiru, excuses. You see, they all rhyme the same way. So they will be always flexible. They are called partly flexible. They will be always light. And they will not take kasra when they are in jar status. Generally speaking. All right. I hope this may be a little overwhelming for some, But it is important to know this information. It's important to have this information because when you go and look in the Quran and you will find these types of words, and then you will see that they don't take kasra when they should be taking kasra for in jar status, then you know why they don't. So you are not confused when you see that. Okay, so there are three types of flexibility. Fully flexible words, easy to tell the status. Non-flexible words, they don't change at all. And then there are partly flexible words who are always light, and generally they don't take kasra, and there are different categories of them. This is not a complete list, but this is enough for now. Okay? They generally don't take kasra. I will make a last statement and then we will close the class. There will be obviously no breakout room. Last statement. You see over here at the top what it says? Partly flexible words are always light and they generally don't take kasra. Generally. But sometimes they will accept kasra if they have to. When they are in jar status, right? And there are two conditions when they will accept a kasra. They can accept kasra, but only two situations. And what are those two situations? Number one, when al is attached to it. For example, makkatu, makkata, makkata. But if I attach al with it, it will be al makkatu, al makkata. And now for jar, it will take kasra. It will accept kasra. Al makkati. Okay. So when these partly flexible words, they get attached with al, they will accept kasra. That's the first situation when they will accept kasra. And the second is when these partly flexible ism, they are used as a mudaf. When they are used as a mudaf, they will accept kasra if they need to, if they are in jar status. You don't know what is mudaf, but I'm telling you at this time, just for your information. You may not understand, what is mudaf, but that is our next topic. So inshallah, soon you will know what a mudaf is. So remember, three types of flexibility. Fully flexible. They distinctly show their status. Telling status of fully flexible words is very simple. Non-flexible words, they don't change at all. They do not show their status. And then partly flexible, who are always light, and they generally don't take kasra. But they will take kasra in two situations as described here. So this concludes our topic of flexibility. All right, so I hope you will if you are a little overwhelmed right now, watch the video again. Inshallah, it will help you understand, and I'm always available to ask questions if you have any. All right, so this is the end of today's lesson. Thank you.